And good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you again to another edition of Cruise Inc. Radio 102.8 live stream television. It is Thursday evening, 8:02 p.m. here in the Cap City. Hope that you've had a wonderful Thursday. I know right now it seems a little cloudy and gloomy. Currently, it is 57 degrees here in the Cap City. We have thunderstorms throughout Central Virginia right now, so we hope that you're being safe out there and that you heed to all of the news and weather warnings that are going on in Central Virginia right now. We're expecting a low of 48 degrees on tonight. Tomorrow, it's going to be continual showers, and the high is going to be again 57, and we're expecting a low of 36 degrees. For Saturday to start off the weekend, you're looking at the sun will be peeping its head through the clouds somewhat, but it's only going to get to 54 degrees with a low of 31. On Sunday for your worship day, it's going to be 60 degrees with another low of 31 and the after the sun sets. And on Monday to start the work week, you're going to be looking at 58 degrees on Monday. So it's going to be pretty warm. So hopefully when the rain goes away, you can get outside and get some exercise in, because I know we stay locked in the house away from everybody and kind of isolating. So this will be an opportunity for you guys to get out and enjoy during the weekend. Tonight, we have some special guests with us, and we have the co-owners of Universal Mental Health Services, LLC. And the reason that this is vitally important because we have a lot of things going on in terms of mental health. And we're going to keep talking about mental health and mental health awareness because about 1 in 4 people suffer from some type of mental health. And we're going to be talking about the services that they provide because this is a minority owned and operated facility, which again makes it extremely special. So we're going to be getting into a lot of this. I want to bring to the screens right now our the CEO and also co-owner of the facility, Universal Mental Health Services LLC, Lavar Reynolds, and also the co-owner is Miss Angelique Epps. How you all doing? And welcome to Cruise Inc. Radio 102.8 TV tonight.
How you doing? Thanks for having us.
I'm
Yes,
glad
thank
you
you.
guys can be here. So I want to get right into some things. And first of all, I want you, LeVar, to tell us you're from Richmond. Is that correct?
Actually, I was born and raised in Tappahannock, Virginia. I did move to the Richmond area while I was in undergrad, and I have some family also in the Richmond area. So I do have some family there and some experiences in the Richmond community. So I'm really proud to be associated with Richmond.
So they still call it Tappahannock. They hadn't changed the name to Chris Brown City.
Not yet, not yet. But he put us on the map, though.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, I was down in that area when the tornado came through there, and that's a real close knit city.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Miss Angelique, how about you? Where did you grow up at, and are you originally from this area?
No, I'm from Newport News, Virginia, but I love Richmond. I went to school in Virginia State University, so
Go
um,
Trojans!
yes.
That is amazing. I want to talk and again kind of set the stage here tonight because I was a youth crisis counselor in the city school system, also in Chesterfield. And what you guys do, you are heroes, and people need to understand that. Uh, while it's rewarding, it's also a difficult job dealing with mental health. And I want to start with you first, Lavar. What made you want to get into the mental health field?
Well, actually, when I graduated from undergrad at Chowan University, my first job out of college was working in a youth group home in Richmond. And I really dove into it. I enjoyed working with the kids. I felt like I was really making a difference. Actually didn't seem like work. Didn't get paid a whole lot, but it was very rewarding in that I was able to reach the youth and provide help and assistance and guidance to some of the boys throughout the Richmond area that were getting into trouble, had legal issues, came from broken homes, broken families, things of that nature. So I found that this work was really rewarding. And so I really just continued to further my education and counseling and mental health, and just wanted to continue to help people as much as I can. We see a lot of people suffering from mental health, or just, things that come up in life that, can be roadblocks or stressors and things. So I felt like, it was my life's purpose to do this work. And so here I am.
That's amazing. And again, we have to say kudos to you and putting in that work. What about you, Angelique? What drove you to this industry?
Well, growing up in Newport News, as in a single family home, my mom raising three children on her own, staying in the neighborhoods that we see a lot of mental health. And I wanted to give back. I wanted to be able to help people that are like me, and the people that let them know that it is a change, that you can make a change to get out of the situation that you're in. So, and I wanted to let them know that mental health is real. Coming from a
Mhm.
single family home, not knowing, you know, that my mom suffered with mental health, not knowing how she was depressed and can't pay the bills, and like what's going on with the single parents now. So it's more like I wanted to be able to help the others, and then I just got in counseling all the way in school. I was school counselors and I was student counselor, and I just loved it. I just wanted to be able to help people.
And that's amazing. I was just on the what they call NAMNET, the National Alliance of Mental Health, and it talks about just here in Virginia that we have anywhere from 1.1 to 1.4 million people that have some type of mental illness. And they
Yeah.
said any mental illness, which could be mild depression, would fall up under that category. On average, and we're going to talk about the dynamics between the crisis in America, then the crisis in Black America, because those are two different dynamics to me when it comes to dealing with those. But I want to talk a little bit about the formation of Universal Mental Health Services LLC. All right, who's the brainchild?
I guess I'll take that one. It's actually a funny story. Angel and I actually worked together prior to starting Universal. We we were actually working at a residential treatment center, and we both were directors there. We had administrative positions, and our positions ended abruptly. And so, just kind of going through that, that was a huge life-changing event for both of us, as well as our families. And so, just thinking like, man, I want to continue this work. I want to be able to reach people, and I want to do it our way. I wanted to, we had so many ideas and so many things that we wanted to do for the community. And so I called Angel and said, hey, let's do our own thing. And she jumped right on board, and we immediately got to work. And we had so many, ideas and things that we wanted to do just to help the community and provide mental health services and to continue to do what we do. And so we started Universal. It was a long process. We launched our first office in Newport News in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then from there, we launched Richmond the following year. And now we've expanded all the way up to Annapolis, Maryland. We launched that in October of 2020. So, a lot of growth
That's
and
a
expansion.
That's amazing, to be able to expand that quickly, and I'm sure it's probably going to be some more expansion here somewhere on the way because, again, just looking at your team and looking at what you guys provide, and there's a growing need each and every day. And I want to talk to you, Angelique, about the outpatient services that you provide. Can you talk about that and some of the things that people, family members, individuals can come to you guys and the services that they will receive?
Yes, we offer outpatient services for children and adults. We do play therapy. We try to with the children, we try to do like a more of a play model. I'm actually a registered play therapy resident. I'm under supervision. Also, we do a lot of family therapy. We offer family therapy. We substance abuse counseling. We do hypnotic therapy now, which is amazing. That's more of working with the people that have suffered with more of the PTSD, the
Mm.
a lot of trauma in their life. So we try to work on, that situation with the hypnotic. And with the family therapy, I find that right now is like a lot of people coming in for family therapy because of the pandemic that's going on. A lot of times, with everything that's going on, people are trying to cope in their home. So we're getting a lot of requests for family therapy and couples therapy.
All right.
Couples therapy has spiked a lot too.
I can
Just
imagine.
yes. So I mean, and it's and couples therapy just because it slowed everyone down. It's like we're just like cold turkey. We're right there with everybody. So a lot of times we try to build families up with our outpatient program. We actually are launching a parenting class starting on Monday. We have a parenting class too because a lot of times parents are frustrated as well.
Hmm.
So we try to work with the parents on their depression and the stuff that is going through, trying to keep up with work and school and raising their children and stuff like that. So outpatient is a big component in our agency right now. On an average, we probably see over 100 families a week.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Speaking of family therapy, I want to go back to the hypnotic and all that because they're going to
Yeah.
be. That's when I saw that, I'm like, okay, wow, you can hypnotize somebody, but I know it's all therapeutic and everything, and some people skeptical, some are not. But let's look at a couple, some highlights here that have happened just this week to show the gravity of the mental health. Kurt Franklin and his son. Lavar, a lot of people were giving Kurt some grief about that, and he even explained as the situation was happening, that he was trying to contact the counselor. I know you don't know all the ins and outs and the dynamics of that family, but uh, if you had received that call, what would have been some of the things that you were tried to do to de-escalate that situation? Because it seemed very volatile, and we're talking about two grown men here. Let's keep it real. First of all, as black men, we're not going to take too
Right,
much,
right,
right?
right. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think it was unfortunate that it had to be made public. I think any of us can attest to family members having disputes or miscommunications and getting angry and losing tempers and sometimes you say things that you don't mean. If he had called me or called our office, obviously it seems like they've been doing some family therapy prior to the incident or even still. But first, I would have tried to reason with Kirk and try to get him to calm down and just kind of calm down and really think about the situation. Maybe talk about some strategies and some things that they can do to kind of try to resolve the issue, and then also trying to reach out to his son to see where things went wrong, his perspective on things, also to try to get him to calm down and see if we can come together as a family to kind of work out these issues. Sometimes individuals or families just are not equipped at that moment with the tools and strategies that they might need to handle situations. Um, maybe it could have been a situation where that could have been a conversation that may have been had in a family therapy session. I know in
Hmm.
family therapy, there are times family members get heated and they argue and they curse each other, but it's in a safe place. It's in a safe and it's in a confidential environment. It was something that could have, kept private, and then we could have continued to work through the issues. But certainly, I understand things can happen like that. And unfortunately, because he is a public figure, he is a celebrity, um, and not knowing that his son would even leak that information, I think it's unfortunate. So it kind of, hurts the dynamic of even the therapy. It kind of breaks trust, with Kirk and his son to kind of trust each other. So a lot of work, if they come back into therapy, will be dealing with like trust,
Mm-hmm.
learn how to trust each other, because I'm sure trust is broken. I'm sure Kirk is hurt because of that. He feels like maybe his son betrayed him or broke his trust, and just working on communication, working on, controlling anger, and learning how to, resolve conflict with family members.
Absolutely. And the other thing that makes this a little bit more difficult is back because he is what is called, seen in that spiritual eye.
Sure.
And a lot of times, unfortunately, there's a lot of pressure on preachers and preachers' kids, and that people don't understand that they're not perfect.
Right.
Again, and I was a preacher for 20 years,
Yeah.
and had issues. My family had issues. We go through things just like everybody else. And I want to go back to Angelique. You mentioned that uh, couples now you're seeing an increase, an uptick in couples, and I'm sure a lot of it is because people are on top of each other more now. We don't have that breathing room. So, what are some of the things that Universal offers, and some of the things you're doing to kind of mitigate everybody from choking each other?
Well, I start off first, like I try to have each person to pinpoint the highlights of their spouse. The stuff that they like the most about their spouse, what made them fall in love with them in the first place. Um and also I would try to work on with them just being able to communicate. A lot of times when couples come in, it's more of the just communication.
Mhm.
And it could be something very simple that they once they kind of role play. We do a lot of role playing. We do a lot of role reversal, which is they love that because they see each other in different different components. um and just being able to let them see their couple, their spouse in a different aspect of why they're here. Far as, like, for example, I have a couple that that may be coming in and they're at each other's throat raising children. That's
Mhm.
the biggest piece. A lot of times is raising the children. They're not agreeing on a lot of things. um and so just try to have them to compromise and come up with a different plan that they way, hey, you can do it this way, and then we can do it this way, and we can just kind of agree in the middle. So it's just more of compromising with each other. Um,
Yeah, there's a lot because now it's already difficult when you have blood family, but now we have a lot of blended families,
Right.
and you have a lot of dynamics there with blended families. What are some of the advice that you would give to the blended family, the couple that has they have kids, each of them, and they're trying to find some cohesiveness and in that family unit?
Well, with the blended families, I would just I always look at the model of the Brady Bunch. I always like, and we what we normally do, I try to have a visual, like a vision board, and then we do like
Mhm.
you like the model of the Brady Bunch and how and what each kid brings to the family. What strength they bring to the family? What could they work on as a family as a whole? So I always have everyone that to identify a role for that
Mhm.
for each person in that family, and then we kind of give them nicknames. Like, this is the enforcer, this is the you know this is the caring one, and and let them know we're all under one roof.
Mhm.
And once everybody's under one roof, how so many unique different attitudes and different strategies and different feelings that each person can bring. So they begin to laugh and say, yeah, such and such, he does bring this, the laughter into our family. So that way, when they have family night, I always have them to commit to one night of the family, just try to have a family dinner, and then that way they can kind of play games or doing, just to kind of promote bonding. So a lot of
Mhm.
times that's been happening, like just to kind of see what each person brings to that blended family. So that works a lot too.
Yeah.
Guys, I got the website here, scrolling across to our visitors. Please, I know many of you are not going to ask questions right now because we always want to hide Uncle Ben in the closet. You know how we do. We
Oh
don't
yeah.
say Uncle Ben special. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's what we use. Uncle Ben special. Lavar, I want to go back to you do a lot of youth and been working with a lot of youth. We see more of our youth now committing suicide at an alarming rate. Is it, in your opinion, because they have so much access to so many things? Because we didn't have the internet and we didn't have all these things. So, in your opinion, what are some of the triggers, the things that are causing such an uptick in the youth suicide rate?
Yeah, I think that can be a direct result of, like you said, kids being exposed to things that we weren't particularly exposed to growing up. Our family was able to kind of protect us from some of the life stressors and some of the life events that was happening all around us. I can remember growing up, I didn't know nothing about mental health. I didn't know nothing about, all the services and things that, that's available today. But the kids have so much access, via social media and the internet, and so a lot of things that they encounter on a daily and consistent basis is a huge stress factor, especially within the family unit. We see a lot of broken families. We see a lot of discord and conflict within families, and the children feel that. I think a lot of times parents or families feel like they are having disputes or conflicts, and the kids don't hear it, they don't see it, but they do.
Hmm.
Even when you think they're not looking or they're not listening, and then they are affected by whatever is going on in or around the family. And so there's a lot of pressure happening for a lot of these teenagers, and unfortunately they're just not getting the skills or the support that they need to be able to deal with those things on a daily basis. I like to tell families, check in with your child. One
Right.
of the things that I think, you might have a kid that's, a straight student, and you might think everything is good, but that kid is in their bedroom, cutting on themselves or depressed or having suicidal thoughts. But because you think that their grades are good, you think everything, revolving them is, maybe they're dealing with bullying, or they have low self-esteem, or, they get picked on at school, or, cyberbullying, social media, things of that nature. Um, so yes, they are absolutely exposed to a lot of different stress factors that I think sometimes we think don't affect the youth, but it really does. And so everybody's different, and how they handle it and how they deal with it is different. Um, growing up, they tell kids don't cry. You tell boys don't cry. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And that's one of the things. But unfortunately, that's created some issues for young boys when they grow up. Is that they don't know how to channel their emotions appropriately, and when they do, it comes out in rage or violence and things like that, because they were always taught to suppress their emotions and not show, that they're crying, because it's seen as a sign of weakness. And so, but we never learned how to deal with that internally, because they were taught to kind of suppress those feelings.
And that's a critical point that you just brought up about suppressing feelings, and like I said, we tell our boys. Because I remember doing it myself as a kind. I would tell my son, "Man up," and what have you. But it is a very thin line, because you don't want them to be weak, but yet you don't want them to be so removed as well. So how do
Right.
we balance that?
Well, I think it's being transparent with, your son, and saying, hey, I realize that hurt you, or you're in some sort of pain, or your feelings are hurt. We all have experienced that too. We all have maybe fallen off a bike and scraped our knee and got hurt, and we wanted to cry, but hey, it's okay. Express yourself, get your emotions out, and then kind of talk them through it. Not just leave them to saying, hey, well, stop crying, dry your eyes, and go on about your, get back on that bike, or, just deal with it. It's more of a process. And we have to understand that, children's brains develop, underdeveloped. They're not as developed as, how we would handle things as adults. So we have to be very, conscious of that. You know what I'm saying? And maybe there were some other things that may have triggered some other strong emotions to now when they have a situation that happens, they have a strong or reaction to it that you're just kind of like, wow, so it really is just, checking in with them, making sure that they're okay, and showing some compassion and understand that it's okay to express some emotion. And, you feel pain, whether it's physical pain or just emotional pain, and it's okay. And just kind of process it with them and help them work through it.
I've been doing these series for a while, and I had Dr. Kinslow, who is a psychologist, on a couple of weeks ago, and
Right.
then Dr. Jonathan Shepard, who is a psychiatrist. And one of the things that came out of those conversations with me, and what you just talked about, that we got to understand it's okay not to be okay, as
Right.
long as you don't stay, in that same under okay position.
Right.
Um, you know, these are some of the things that we talk about our kids now. And the reason I'm talking about our kids because we see more kids becoming aggressive now. They are looking to, do some things that we, then think about the bullying and what have you. And Angelique, I got a question that I'm going to send you in just a minute. But in the school systems, do you guys do a lot of work within the school systems now? Because I know when I was in the school, you had psychiatrists, you had counselors, you had one-to-ones, and are those resources still available that the parents can advocate for their child?
I can piggyback off. With the school systems, they do offer, some of the counseling and stuff, and they do try to refer them out. However, some of the children are, some of them are afraid to even tell them everything that's going on. So, like, what just to piggyback off of what Lavar was saying, they try to, we have to be strong, we have to be tough, and then a lot of times I find with children in the schools it's so much stuff that's going on in the home that they feel like, oh, I can't say anything because I don't want, to get I don't want to be taken away from my parents or
Hmm.
something like that. And I think within the school systems, they do a huge bit of stuff so they can try to help the children find the resources in the families and stuff like that. However, sometimes the kids shy away from talking to that counselor because they're feeling like that the first thing that they're thinking about is just removing them from the home or something like that. And that's just coming from experience from counseling different children over the years. They was like, oh, and that's in our first thing is to keep our first goal is to keep the kids safe in the home or something like that. However, you may have mommy that is sleep all day because she's depressed. You may have dad who's always or mommy or daddy, whoever, either one is always on is an intoxicator or something like that, and the children are pretty much on their own. So when they're coming to school, they're hungry, and a lot of times people don't understand the dynamics in the home. They're, sometimes like, oh, they don't have any food. But when you go out and analyze the situation, they do have food. It's just that I found out the parents may be depressed. You know, dad's working all the time, or dad, they don't have anything anyone to take care of them at that moment. So the kid is raising themselves. So, um, just being able to do those home studies. I remember back they used to do a lot of home studies. I think that they need to start back doing a lot of those home studies in the home just to kind of see what's going on with Johnny or whoever that's going through those issues at that time.
Right. Lavar, it seems that we're in a mental health crisis. And I want to ask you, has the crisis always been here, or has the pandemic illuminated the problem even more so? We talked about things that have become more obvious now. What is your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's always been here. Like Angelique was saying, we've seen a spike of, patients coming to our office since the pandemic. I think it has really awakened people to recognizing that there were some things going on prior to the pandemic that was just kind of triggered by this, the situation that's happening has affected everybody, physically and mentally. And so, yeah, I definitely think it's always been here. It's not always, easy subject for people to talk to. We don't expect people to just kind of walk into our office and say, hey, I need help, just dealing with this or dealing with that. But since the pandemic, I think people have been reaching out even more so now than in previous past, saying, hey, I'm going through some situations that I was struggling with, but now this has really made it hard, whether it's a loss of job, whether it's a family member being affected by the COVID-19 or losing a loved one. Grief and loss has been another huge thing that's been happening because of the pandemic, as well as substance abuse. We've seen an increase in individuals consuming more alcohol and drugs just to try to cope with what's been happening in the world, and so it's really been a tough time. But I think it's really just kind of highlighted, some of the things that's been happening, and so it's also helped when other people have kind of been speaking out, celebrities about mental health and other public figures, kind of bringing more awareness to mental health, and there is help out there for people who are struggling and dealing with it, and it's okay. It's okay.
Absolutely. And you mentioned how fear, some kids and even people are fearful talking about some things. And I was doing some research about what happened in Indianapolis with the young man killing this kids and shooting the woman over a stimulus check. And when you look at that case study, there had been just signs after signs that guy had some mental issues.
Sure.
He had been arrested several times, but one of the things I read, that the young lady that he was with or was dating, she was afraid of him, and that now because of that fear, kids are have been killed and hurt and traumatized, and this fear can be debilitating and basically frees us into doing nothing. How do we try to break that cycle of fear where before it becomes catastrophic like this particular case?
And yeah, and that's just something when I was mentioning, when a lot of times when in the school system, when kids are afraid to tell what's going on in the home, and that fear is more of parents. Have a talk with your children and let them know things that are right and things that are wrong, and some of the signs that they don't, some of the signs that they may feel like that is danger, like some of the danger signs. I think those conversations need to be had more in the home, and just kind of working with the families, and if you see those early on signs, just seek help. Don't wait to the last minute. Seek help immediately. Because if you continue to let it go and go and go, then those things can happen. So the first sign, maybe even off of that person, hey, I see that you're very angry. Do you feel like that we can go to counseling? I can go with you. If they don't want to come into the office, it's also telehealth. We do telehealth as well. A lot of times people don't want to be seen coming to mental health offices and stuff like that. And that's okay. Just, make an appointment, do telehealth. Just try to help that person too. Um, Early on, with the early signs that you see, especially in some of the signs that you may encounter is, you know, raising the voice. If they're raising their voice more than often, if they're, breaking things, shouting, kicking things, or something like that. Just if you see those signs out of adult, those are, something is really, really going on deeper inside.
Mhm.
So maybe offer them some help or give them a card or something like that, and offer them more help before they get to that point.
Mhm.
That's excellent advice. Lavar, what we've been seeing forever and a day now, with all the police brutality and Now we're having to teach our young men also how to react when they come in contact with police officers. Police officers now are more edgy. Do you feel that police departments need to have more certified and experienced people available, like your agency and others, to deal with certain crises, so that we can perhaps have less decrease the chances of our kids being killed? Well, us, period. Men, women, they're coming in contact with the police departments.
Yeah, I definitely think that that would be very helpful. I think, first starting with, training in mental health of the police officers and training them on, noticing some of the signs and symptoms of maybe someone having a mental health crisis versus them just being resistant or just acting erratic or out of control. But, there are some people that are experiencing some mental health episodes or crises in that moment. Even being pulled over by the police could be a traumatic event. At that moment, when those blue lights come on, if somebody's getting pulled over, that could trigger something in someone who is very vulnerable to mental
Mhm.
illness and things like that. That could be a traumatic experience. Someone could be living in a community where there's a lot of community violence, and so they've had bad experiences or encounters with the police, and so that could automatically trigger something in the individual that maybe have some mental health illnesses. So I definitely think, training with the police department working in collaboration with agencies like, Universal or other agencies throughout the city and surrounding areas on how to collaborate. If they encounter someone who obviously has some history of mental health or just, mental health issues, being able to contact, agencies like ourselves to kind of come in and assist and maybe de-escalate the situation, or just have an agency to refer someone to, because not everything is criminal. It could
Right.
just, they need help and they don't know how to get it. And so, just locking them up or anything like that isn't always going to fix that problem. But I definitely think, training and then, more collaboration with agencies like ourselves and the police department, I think would definitely benefit everyone.
And this is just my personal opinion, is that we're putting a lot on you guys. Are certified, you go to keep up with classes and things like that, and our officers, out there in the streets, primarily, unless they have a special unit to continue the training that you all have,
Right.
I just feel we're going to continue to see this unnecessary violence and this I was watching the young lady, somebody was filming, and what a young lady was missing, and of course you had the whole neighborhood out there, and this was here in Richmond,
Sure.
where there was a confrontation, verbal confrontations between the police officers and those that were really upset about the young lady being missing. uh, how do we advocate to get, again, as you said, more collaboration with the police department, saying, hey, you guys need some help here? I mean, I know that's a tall order, but in your opinion, how do we start to bridge that gap, Lamar?
I think we share the responsibility with the police department. I think agencies like ourselves need to reach out to the police department. We try to do community events along with the police department and establishing that dialogue with them and letting them know who we are, how we can help. We have counselors that go into the same communities and work in the homes in the same neighborhoods that they go into. So all of our services aren't just in an office. We actually dispatch counselors into the homes and into the community. So we're very familiar as well, what's going on in certain neighborhoods or areas of Richmond and the surrounding areas. So if we work together and we kind of have that dialogue and that relationship, I definitely think that, we could, better serve the community. I mean, we're handling the mental health aspect. We're out in the community, we're going into homes, we're going into some of the toughest neighborhoods to work with those families. And the police are there too to make sure that everybody's safe. And
Hmm.
so I definitely think that, the responsibility is on us, and it's also on the police department to continue to try to collaborate and see how we can help each other in dealing with this mental health crisis that's happening, because any type of stressors can contribute to things that's been going on.
Absolutely.
And we even offer. I'm sorry. Can I
No,
piggyback?
go right ahead. Yeah.
And we even offer, like, if we, to ride along services. If you feel like that you're going into a home that that has severe mental health, we don't mind even just kind of, meeting you there or something like that, and just try to help the police officers, because a lot of times it's a lot of misunderstanding with with the shootings and stuff like that that's going on with the police, and just to kind of just talk them down, and be more reasonable with that person, versus, a lot of times when people have mental health and you're going at them really, really, like, hard, more, and it's like, if they're already hearing voices in their head, you're going to get aggressive, they're going to get aggressive, you're going to go up, they're going to continue to go up, and then somebody's going to get hurt eventually. So
Yeah.
the training piece, I think, just even offering that training piece is very important, because a lot of times they don't understand that person is going through a mental health crisis.
So a lot of sensitivity training, a lot of cultural training, and
Sure.
along those lines have to be done, and learning how to de-escalate a
Right.
situation rather than escalate it.
Definitely.
Exactly.
I want to talk about the hypnosis therapy.
Mhm.
You guys, Lamar, you said you wanted to do some things your way and out the box. So, uh, Angelique, talk about the hypnosis therapy.
Oh, well, hypnosis therapy is more of, if you're going through a lot of times people forget what happened in their childhood. And sometimes people want, and they don't know. I have a lot of patients that come in and say, I just remember when I was 2, and I can't remember anything else till I was about 12. Like, and these are adults. So it's like that block of time is missing from their life. So a lot of times people, and then it's like they have fear of taking a shower. They may have a fear of the dark. They may have fears of different things, and they don't know why. But then they know this big block of time is missing. So hypnotic I mean, hypnotherapist is more of just being able to gather those missing memories, and just to see what's going on, and what happened in that block of time, because sometimes that can pretty much mess with your mental health, but you don't really know in that moment what's going on. So it could be scary, because some things may come up that you don't want to resurface. But so we definitely have a therapist there that will help you manage those things. So a lot of times when it's called, like, more of the dissociative amnesia, and
Hmm.
they're more of they just forget. So a lot of times the courts will send them to us, or a hypnotherapist, just to get those memories back and see what's going on.
So hypnosis is real.
It is
Yeah.
real. It is real.
And they also work with individuals like, you've heard of people, for smoking and even weight loss. We get a lot of weight loss patients that come to us as well for hypnotherapy.
But that just spiked. I'm sure that you're about to get a lot of phone calls.
Yeah.
And of course, again, a lot of times the things that are going on with us are mental more than physical. And if we
Yeah.
can overcome the mental part, we can start to meet a lot of the other challenges and things.
Right.
Lamar, what you guys are doing, you and Angelique here, there are not a lot of African American owned and operated, minority owned and operated agencies like yours. What is some of the barriers? Because it may be some others that want to get into what you all do, but you guys do it on a whole different level.
Mhm.
So first of all, kudos on what you're doing. But
Thank
what are
you.
some of the things that you guys had to overcome to get to this level, and then be one of the premier uh, minority owned agencies?
Yeah. Well, I think first of all, for where we are now, I mean, all of our experiences come from, like, the work we've put in working for other agencies and other companies. We've worked from everywhere from residential to group homes to community-based programs. And so it was important to us to establish an agency where, that is minority owned, and we felt like we could reach, minorities, and sometimes people are comfortable, talking to someone who look like them. And so we've always been, very involved in the communities where we live and where we serve. And we do a lot of community work. And so we like to go and meet people where they are. And so that's been a lot of our successes, that we go to the neighborhoods, we go to the communities, we talk to people, they can talk to us, we're accessible. And so we've really put a lot of time and energy in recruiting some of the best staff that we can to help serve the larger of the community that we have. And so we take pride in what we do. It could be very tough work at times. It could be even mentally exhausting for the clinicians and our staff. But we know we have a larger goal, a larger purpose to serve our community. So, we're here, we're accessible, we have a variety of services that we offer, and we're tailored to the individual. Depending on their need, how intense they need the services, how frequently, all of that. So it's just important that we continue to push forward, and we understand we all have family members that have had mental health or substance abuse issues. And so just having those experiences as well has also kind of pushed us forward to continue to reach back and help those who may be going through something.
Before I get into the PTSD thing, I want to go back to the mental health crisis in Black America. How do we get rid of this stigmatism that holds us back and keeps us from getting help? Because we're suffering. And there was and I want to quote this, I might quote it wrong, so I'm going to kind of paraphrase it. But it says, when white America get a cold, we catch the flu. Everything is always worse, trickle down for our community. So how do we tear down that taboo? How do we dismantle that myth that, okay, we got to suffer in silence?
I would say more of that myth is more of, that's a lot of times that's come from a lot of our history, the way we was raised. However, you don't have to suffer in silence. There's so many ways that you can get help now. A lot of times people don't want to come in the office. I'll say, being that we do have telehealth, take advantage of telehealth, take advantage of online therapy. These are some different components that we can just, if you're just curious, even if you're curious, just we also do 15 minutes mental health consulting. Like I would say, even call 15 minutes and just tell us what's going on, and we can go from there. So just don't be scared to feel like that you need help. It's nothing, that don't mean that you're crazy. A lot of times growing up, people's like, oh, you see a therapist, something's wrong with you, you must be crazy. No,
Right.
you're not crazy. It's just that something that's been bothering you so long that you just want to get it out. You want to be able to talk to somebody, and it's okay. Maybe you don't want to talk to your mom, maybe you don't want to talk to your dad or your cousins or your sisters or your brothers. You may want to talk to somebody. So I'll just say, even just get it out. Just call, say, hey, I'm curious, I've never done this before. And I have actually, to be honest, I would say since the pandemic started, we had about a good 30% of new people that have never believed in mental health
Right.
before. And they's like, I never really seen a therapist. And guess what? They said they're fine with it. They really glad they made that decision to come get help. So
It's funny, I watch a lot of television, and in the European American, European American, I put two words together. I'm making up words now. I'm getting my preacher thing on. But when it comes to white America, it's trendy. You hear them, oh, I got to go see my therapist.
Yeah.
But again, with us, it's like, oh man, like you just said, something wrong with you. We weak or whatever, just because, again, we're going to seek help. And one of the things that I know that's a big hindrance to people getting help is they say, Lavar, they can't afford it. how how is it now that people can get help, and some of the ways that they can afford it now?
Well, obviously, if they have insurance, we do accept insurance. We also do accept self-pay, and we have done some pro bono services, as well as linking individuals to other community-based services or organizations that can assist with those, if they have financial difficulties and things like that. We try to work with each and every individual that we can to make it so that they can get the help they need and access the services that they need, but in an affordable manner. And I think sometimes, that's the excuse that, people may use, but it's really not the number one reason why they don't want to come to therapy. Just taking that first step to walking in their office is difficult for them. And
Hmm.
so, but helping them access the resources that they may need to help them continue to get the help that they need. If you're sick, you go to the hospital, right? You go to the doctor, and it's sort of the same thing. It doesn't mean that you're going to need, therapy forever, but it just needs that you just need some guidance and some assistance in dealing with some of the struggles that you might be encountering. So there's a lot of different other organizations that help with providing funding for mental health services and accessing services in that way. So we like to try to work with every individual that we can so that they can assess the services that they need and get the help they need.
And can I piggyback off that?
Yes, absolutely.
We don't turn anyone away. It's just like Lavar said, it's more of the doctor's office. If you feel like you need help, if we can't meet your needs, we're gonna make sure that we get you where you need to be. So we don't turn anyone away. We're gonna
That's
yeah, whether you have insurance or not.
That's awesome. And I'm on this right here. I'm going to break down according to gender. Uh, Lamar, I want you to talk to the men right now that are out here, especially us black men, because we can be stubborn and whatever. I want you to make a plea to the black men, our young black men, our gang bangers, our thugs, all those again that need help.
Right.
Someone want to have help, because there was another statistic I meant to mention that 1 out of 4 inmates have mental health issues.
Hmm.
That's serious. 1 out of 4. So
Yeah.
out of if you can be in a group of 5, uh, one of y'all got some issues. So
Hmm.
talk to that aspect, and then Angelique, I want you to in closing out, I'm gonna want you to make that same plea to the women, because there are a lot of women that are in abusive relationships that they are suffering. So Lavar, talk this go for it, man. Talk to our men right now, because we got some issues.
Yeah, yeah. Black men, first of all, you're not alone. You're not alone in what you're dealing with and what you're struggling with, what some of your problems are. You're not alone, but we need you. Our women need you, our communities need you, our families need you, and we do need to be strong. But we also need to get well. And a lot of times, we want to try to suppress, whatever it is that's going on, and we may react or respond in a way that's, counterproductive to the situation or your life, but we need you. And so we have, people like myself and other black men that are doing this work in mental health and psychiatry and things of that nature, that if you don't feel comfortable talking to someone, you can come talk to us. We're here. It's a brotherhood. We want to look out for all of you, but we need you. We need you guys to stay in the communities. We need you to stay in the homes, keep the families intact, protect our youth, guide our youth, teach them the right way to be. But you got to be mentally healthy. It can happen to any of us. You are not alone. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. It doesn't mean that you're weak. It doesn't mean that you can't handle life problems. We all go through things. And so, but there are people that you can talk to in confidence, in a safe environment, and just get well and feel better about yourself. But we need you. We need you here in the community. We need you with the families. And that's what we're about. And so if you need help or you need to talk, we're here, and it's okay.
Angelique.
Um, and just to piggyback, women, I'm glad we're that backbone of our men. Of don't tear the men down. We do love our men, and sometimes if you feel like that you're out by yourself, and you need that help, you need that therapy, because a lot of times we feel like we want to just take on the whole world by ourselves, and just us with the kids, and we just struggling. It's just like our mental health, we just feel like we have to deal with it, but you don't. You can still get that help. Don't feel like that you're weak, because it's like, oh, I have to be the backbone for my children. I have to do this, I have to do that. We still can do everything that we need to do on top of taking care of yourself. Always remember, if you're not healthy if you're not healthy and your mental health is not intact, your children and everybody in your family will see it, and that family could crumble apart because you need to get yourself together first. And it's okay. Build yourself up. It's a safe place. You're going to learn strategies to be able to work through your issues along with helping the people that's in your family as well.
Absolutely. I want to let the viewers know that's kind of jumping in and off and everything. If you missed any of this, because there's been a lot of good information out here, you can always go to our Cruising Radio Facebook page. It'll be out there. It's also on our Cruising Media page, our Richmond VA Things to Do group page. So we just topped 7,800 members now before I came on. So that's awesome. And also, it's out on our YouTube channel, Cruising Radio 102.8. TV channel on YouTube. Lavar, tell them again where all the facilities that they can seek help. Of course, we got the website scrolling across, but where are the physical locations where you guys are?
So in Richmond, we're located at 2421 Westwood Avenue, Suite B, in Richmond, Virginia. That's right off of Broad Street. In Newport News, we're located at 714 J. Clyde Morris Boulevard, Suite 180 in Newport News. And we're also located in Annapolis, Maryland at 1997 Annapolis Exchange Parkway, Suite 300. And so our website has all our contact information and locations. We also have a Facebook page and Instagram page. If you want to like and follow us, you'll get updates and news on things that we're doing. We share a lot of mental health tips and information, and also get to see, UMHS out in the community when we're doing community events and things. So, we look forward to getting back to that as well once the pandemic clears and all that good stuff.
And they do have Twitter also. Want to know? They got Twitter. So they got social media on lock. Got it on lock. Angelique, any closing thoughts or anything that you would like to leave with our audience and those that will be tuning in later on?
Just understand mental health is real, and we are all working together. If we're not healthy as a community, as a nation, then things will crumble. However, get help, please.
Absolutely. Lavar, any closing words for you?
No, I just thank you. Thank all the listeners out there for allowing us to come on tonight. We really appreciate it. We love the work that we do. We have an excellent team that works for Universal that's doing a lot of the work. So, we can't take credit for it all. We have a lot of heroes out there that's putting in a lot of time and a lot of work. So, we thank our staff as well. And let's work together.
Absolutely. And then what I'd just like to piggyback on what Lavar and Angelique has said, most importantly, mental health, again, doesn't have to be your narrative. You can change that narrative, whether it's mild depression or whatever. Talk to someone. Again, this is an excellent agency. You see that they're here in the community, and we know that they're going to be branching out, because I can already see that that they got that structure going on. And again, we want to say to you guys, thank you for what you're doing, in the community, the professional services that you provide. And a lot of times, Black businesses get kind of dinged, but you guys have an excellent operation, and I just want to commend you on the things you're doing and will continue to do.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, don't go anywhere. We're going to get ready to get out of here, but want you to know that if you want to relax tonight, you can go out to the website, make an appointment, talk to them. Then you can turn on that smooth jazz at 10 o'clock with Tina E. Get some of that stress off of you until you can go into the office and see Lavar and Angelique and the rest of the
There you go.
team. Go to Cruise Inc. Radio 102.8. We got smooth jazz with Tina E. And then I got a radio personality, Lavar, that looks almost like you, man, except he's missing the hair,
Oh yeah.
which is yeah, and that's Big Al, which
Okay.
he brings in at 11 o'clock, some very relaxing, what we call after dark music. So, shameless plug here. Go out and listen to some music because music is therapy. But beyond that, you can also get some help. And we have a fantastic organization with Universal Mental Health Services, LLC. Thank you guys. Again, looking forward because we didn't get to all our topics. We'll have to come back and talk some more.
Yeah.
You guys, again, thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you so
us.
much. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. It's your boy Cruz, the Beast from the East, and it is now 9:03 p.m. And we will be back. Thank you guys. Have a great night.
All
Thank
right.
you.